Marcus Chen adjusted his tactical vest for the 100th time that morning, trying to minimize the awkward bulge that had appeared in his chest plate overnight. The bio-enhancement serum Dr. Zara had administered was supposed to improve his reflexes, not give him what felt like an extra lung pressing against his ribs. "Stop fidgeting, human," growled Commander Vextar, his Krathari superior. The reptilian alien's scaled face showed its usual expression of barely contained irritation. "The diplomatic summit begins in 30 minutes, and I need you focused." Marcus nodded, though the strange swelling in his torso made every breath feel different. He was the only human on the joint peacekeeping force, selected specifically because humans had proven uniquely capable of reading micro-expressions across dozens of alien species. It was a skill that had made humanity invaluable in galactic diplomacy, despite being one of the youngest species in the Confederation. The previous evening, Dr. Zara Kethlin had approached him in the medical bay. The Etherian scientist, with her luminescent blue skin and 4 arms, had always been kind to him, perhaps too kind, considering the strict protocols about interspecies relationships. "Marcus," she had whispered, her voice carrying that melodic quality that made human hearts race. "I need your help. There's been a mix-up with the enhancement serums. I accidentally gave you batch 47X instead of the standard reflex booster." His blood had run cold. "What does that mean?" "It means—" She had glanced around nervously. "No one can know. The batch you received was experimental, designed for Etherian physiology. On humans, it might cause unexpected developments." And now, 12 hours later, Marcus was dealing with the consequences. The bulge in his chest wasn't painful, but it was definitely there, creating an uncomfortable pressure against his armor. The summit was taking place on Nexus Station, a massive diplomatic hub orbiting a neutron star. Representatives from 47 species had gathered to address the growing tension between the militaristic Krathari and the technologically advanced Vorthan Empire. War seemed inevitable unless someone could find common ground. As they entered the Grand Assembly Hall, Marcus immediately began his work. His enhanced human ability to read facial expressions and body language across species had made him legendary in diplomatic circles. Where others saw only alien features, Marcus could detect the subtle signs of fear, aggression, hope, or deception. The Vorthan delegate, Ambassador Quinthara, stood rigid near the central podium. Her insectoid features were difficult for most species to interpret, but Marcus caught the slight tremor in her antennae. She was terrified. The Krathari delegation, led by War Chief Thorax, projected aggressive confidence, but Marcus noticed the way Thorax's tail kept twitching, a sign of uncertainty among his people. But as the session began, Marcus realized something was wrong with his perceptions. The sensations from the bulge in his chest seemed to be resonating. Every time he focused on reading an alien's expressions, he felt a strange warmth spreading from the swelling. During the first recess, Dr. Zara found him in a side corridor. "How are you feeling?" she asked, her 4 hands wringing together nervously. "Strange," Marcus admitted. "It's like I can feel what they're feeling. Not just see it, actually feel it." Zara's luminescent skin flickered, the Etherian equivalent of a gasp. "That's impossible. The serum wasn't designed for empathic enhancement." "Then what was it designed for?" She looked away. "Cardiac regeneration. Etherians have a secondary heart chamber that can regrow if damaged. The serum stimulates that growth." Marcus stared at her. "Are you telling me I'm growing a second heart? It shouldn't be possible in human physiology, but—" She gestured helplessly at his chest. Whatever was happening to him, Marcus realized he had an advantage. When the session resumed, he found himself not just reading expressions, but actually sensing the emotional undercurrents in the room. The Vorthan fear wasn't about military defeat. It was about their young. The Crithari aggression masked a deep concern about resource scarcity on their homeworld. During a heated exchange between the two factions, Marcus stepped forward. Protocol demanded he remain silent unless specifically asked to interpret. But something in his chest, his new heart perhaps, was telling him this was the moment. "War Chief Thorax," he said, his voice carrying across the hall. "Your people aren't seeking conquest, you're seeking survival." The massive Crithari's eyes widened in surprise. Few humans dared address him directly. "And Ambassador Quinthara," Marcus continued, feeling the emotional resonance growing stronger. "Your people aren't afraid of losing territory. You're afraid of losing your children." The room fell silent. Marcus could feel the weight of dozens of alien gazes, but more than that, he could feel their emotions, confusion, hope, curiosity, and beneath it all, a shared desire for peace that none of them had been able to articulate. The Crithari need new worlds not for expansion, but because their sun is dying, Marcus continued, the knowledge flowing through him as if he were reading it from their hearts. The Vorthon have identified 17 uninhabited systems perfect for colonization, but they fear that sharing this information will make them targets. Both delegations exchanged shocked glances. This information had been classified at the highest levels. "How could you possibly know this?" demanded War Chief Thorax. Marcus touched the bulge in his chest, feeling the steady rhythm of two hearts beating in sync. "Because I can feel what you feel. Fear, hope, desperation, love for your people. These emotions transcend species. They're universal." Dr. Zara watched from the observation deck, her skin flickering with amazement. Whatever had happened to Marcus, it wasn't just physical. Somehow, the interaction between the Etherean serum and human physiology had created something unprecedented, a being capable of truly empathetic communication across species barriers. The summit that had been expected to end in war declarations instead concluded with the signing of the Nexus Accords, a comprehensive resource-sharing agreement that would benefit both empires. As the delegations dispersed, many stopped to thank the human who had somehow seen into their hearts. Later, as Marcus finally allowed Dr. Zara to examine him properly, she shook her head in wonder. "You're not just growing a second heart," she told him. "You're developing an entirely new organ, something that can process and interpret bioemotional frequencies across species. You've become something unique in the galaxy." Marcus smiled, feeling both hearts beating strong in his chest. "So what do we do now?" "Now," Zara said, her skin glowing with excitement, "we figure out how to replicate this gift. Because if there's one thing the galaxy needs, it's more beings who can truly understand what others are feeling." The awkward bulge in his armor had become humanity's greatest contribution to galactic peace, and Marcus Chen, the first human with two hearts, would spend his life teaching others that sometimes the best way to resolve conflicts was simply to feel what your enemy feels, and realize they're not so different from you after all.